Greetings, people of Earth. So, just a little video here today to try and help bring in more of the understanding of cooperation is better than competing. All right, so let's start this off with, what do you see? All right, me, opportunity. Over here on the left, we've got a famous picture of, depending on how you look at it, you see an old woman or you see a young gal, right? It just goes to show you that it's not what's really there, it's what you see. And over here on the right, what are you a part of? On the left, you got individuals doing their own thing, right? And how much can they do by themselves? Not as much as option number 2, Ripple XRP Army Stories picture, right? Well, what they can do together, right, is much more than what the walled gardens can do individually. And we have an opportunity with our XRP army, family, community, whatever you want to call it. We can become the most effective sharing community in the history of the internet, in the history of the world. Or we can just have individuals working to try to outdo each other and outcompete each other, but that's not going to do as much as if we work together. Now, I wanted to be able to share some insights from a billionaire. You don't need to listen to me. Who am I? Right? But if a billionaire is resonating the same thought processes and the same intention as me, you think it might be worth listening to? So, see, we kind of started getting off track because of this moron, right? He decided with a reptilian brain, right? And guess what, y'all? That brain was the size, that reptilian brain was the size of a pea. And he decided that he was going to go out and gather food because she told him, hey, buddy, if you don't come back with some food, don't bother coming back. So he scratched his little head with his little pea reptilian brain inside of his big skull, and he thought, to eat, I must compete. The original mistake. Well, we've been repeating that original mistake for millennia, and we've ended up with 97% of the world's money in 3% of the people's hands. Does that seem like it's real smart? Well, during this beer cold time, wouldn't it be a good idea for us to reevaluate and take a look at the direction that we'd like to go in with our lives, right? So just listen to JP, all right? See if it sounds like he smells what the rock is cooking, okay?
What was a big lesson you learned while being in the Navy?
Greatest lesson I learned is when I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of years ago and I received the Lone Sailor Award. I gave the lesson out. Being in the Navy, I was a normal, everyday human being, okay? And I became an officer many years after I got out of the Navy and an admiral, but that's a whole different story. But being in the United States Navy as an enlisted man, what I learned was I graduated from high school. I was a common person. How a bunch of common people could get together and be trained properly, but as a team, they achieve extraordinary results. Boy, did I learn that lesson, meaning that you can't do it alone. I'm a common person. But let's get us ordinary people together, be taught properly, and as a team, we achieve extraordinary results. That I learned out of the Navy.
So just imagine what this team can do together, all sharing ideas, all sharing the workload. You know, Napoleon Hill, pretty smart guy. And he talked about the idea of a mastermind. Well, that's one of the things that we have the opportunity to do in our XRP community. We have, and I boldly state, we have the greatest opportunity to share information together as a community with the rest of the world that has ever been done in the history of the internet or the history of the world. Okay? Do you understand? A team can do more together than an individual can by themselves. Are you smelling what the rock's cooking? Are you? All right, so I'm going to be just a bit harsh here, okay, because I'm trying to make a point. All right, do you think that this moron sitting here by himself truly believes that he can outproduce the results of a team? Do you really believe that? He doesn't even believe that. But this is what the selfish are doing when they're sitting in their own little walled gardens, just doing their own little thing. It's not as effective as if we can all work together. JP said it, teamwork. That's what he learned. He's a billionaire. He's not an idiot in a walled garden. You get it?
But what's fair where everybody wins? Or everybody only loses a little bit, but everybody wins in the end because it's fair.
Right.
If you go just for you, and all of a sudden you topple the other side, they'll regret it. Okay, and there'll be covert hostility. So when you negotiate, well, yes, we want something fair, but fair for both. Not just more fair for me and less fair for you, or vice versa. Let's just set where we both benefit. We go on as friends. Big lesson to be learned.
Wow.
And I've been there before where I wanted more tipped towards me in my younger days, but that's so many decades ago, you know, and knowing this has been one of the greatest helps in the last 30 years with me.
So when you're thinking about what your next move's going to be, what your next strategy is going to be, what your next action is going to be, think about moving forward in the next 5 years. Are we creating the kind of world that we want to live in? Well, we need to change if we want to have a better world. More cooperation, less competing. We've got enough. We just need to learn to cooperate with each other and share more with each other, right? So when you're making a decision, think about what is good for everyone concerned. And if it means a little bit less for you on the front end, you're going to gain like a boomerang with your goodness and your generosity coming back. Because if you treat other people like that, they're going to treat you the same. You get what you give. It's spiritual law. All right, see this tree? These people cooperating together, right? All hands on tree. They can lift a heavier log than an individual can all by themselves. So if we're trying to share the good news about XRP to the rest of the world, we can do it more effectively if we're masterminding the strategies of how to do it. And then we are sharing the load, the workload of getting the content, the information out there, right? And the hands, right? The hands, think about the cells in the hands, right? They are a symphony of cellular cooperation. If a cell suddenly jumps out of your hand onto that tree, that cell is going to die, right? We were designed to cooperate. Our bodies are a symphony of cellular cooperation. It's a beautiful thing. But how are we connecting and cooperating with other people? How are we doing that? We're sitting in our own little house, looking at our computer, reading tweets, and some are making videos, but we're all just sitting there together, alone. We're much better together, right? Think about a big television network, right? Like NBC. They got the main hub, right? And then they got all these affiliates, and they share the hub, the main network news at 6:30, Lester Holt, right? But then the whole rest of the time, the affiliates have a choice of their own local programming, right? But they're all connected, right? NBC is more powerful than some Yahoo sitting in his own house broadcasting on a ham radio, right? A network is more powerful than an individual. I mean, do I need to have a 4-year-old draw you a picture? Do I? Do I really?
And just be open to the universe.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I could ever ask anybody to do when people say to me, JP, what can I do for you for whatever you're doing? And I ask them the same question, everybody. Are you happy right now? Yeah. They say, oh yeah, I'm very happy. I only want more of that. They say, well, kind of. I say, well, then what I want from you is just get happy within yourself and feel really, really good about yourself and others. Like an example, while you and I are talking, your, let's call it your aura, for lack of a better word, was here. Now your aura's out right here. So you're very happy to what we're talking about right now. And it's coming off your body too now, by the way.
Sure.
You're very, very happy about what you're doing. When people are happy about what they're doing and happy in life, they influence those around them to be happy.
Well, in order to be happy, right, the very first thing that you've got to do is you've got to answer Einstein's essential question, right? Do you live in a hostile or loving universe? See, if you believe like the caveman, to eat I must compete, you believe in scarcity, then you've got to outdo the other man in order to get ahead, right? Then of course you're going to choose to compete like the caveman moron. Or you can become an evolved human being, go with the flow, gain a new consciousness of cooperation, and start giving. Because it's in the giving that we receive. You only get what you give. It's spiritual law. You can bang your head up against the wall all you want to trying to disprove that, but you're just going to hurt your head. All right, so answer. In this time of the beer cold, take some time to reflect and look in the mirror and ask yourself some of these important questions, like Einstein's essential question. Do you live in a hostile or a loving universe? Alrighty then. Okay, so once you determine if you live in a loving or a hostile universe, what's next? Right, the next 5 years, are you going to become more of a giving person with a community cooperation consciousness, or are you going to be out there trying to compete and get as much as you can? Well, there's enough. Like oxygen, you can't get any more oxygen than anybody else. Just imagine the stupidity that you would have in your life today if you were out here trying to compete for oxygen. Right? Well, you're not competing for oxygen because you know that there's enough, and there's enough of everything. And when we come from a place and a foundation of knowing that in our mindset, it changes the way that we do everything else. So we've got a choice today. You're going to go to the left, you're going to go to the right. We already know what the competing consciousness gives humanity. 97% of the money, right, is in 3% of the people's hands. How's that working out for us? How is that working out for us? Let's reevaluate the caveman's original mistake and choose again. And then in the next 5 years, we can build a world together that we all enjoy being in more, right? More oxytocin, less cortisol. Cooperation gives oxytocin. Competing gives the stress hormone cortisol, right? Are you feeling me? Do I need to get a 4-year-old to draw you a picture? I don't think so. All right, let's get on to what's next with JP.
JP, I want to acknowledge you for a moment for your consistent ability to show up for yourself in the world. You've been showing up from a young age for your mom, for your older brother, for the different communities you're in, and you're constantly giving back. And obviously you said you've not been perfect over the years, but you're constantly showing up and giving back. And the ability to just think the way you think of just joy, happiness, forgiveness. Right. Simple principles that a lot of us forget. I acknowledge you for showing up with all that you've created, all your success, and constantly wanting to give back. I think it's amazing.
I so much appreciate what you're saying. I want to change one thing.
Sure.
During those days where I say I wasn't perfect, I said the wrong thing. I was perfect. I was just led the wrong way by my mind and what some of my beliefs were, okay?
Sure.
Which strayed me from being perfect. We're all perfect. We're just strayed because of events, timing, or whatever might be in our mind this time around, or maybe from before. Who knows?
For sure. Well, I appreciate everything you're up to. And my final question is, what is your definition of greatness?
Greatness is when you do something for somebody else and ask absolutely nothing in return, not even a thank you or acknowledgement. Man, not only do you get high as a kite, but you are great within. You don't even have to tell people. You're just great within yourself. Wow, I did that. And you feel good about yourself and your presence. You don't have to tell people about it. You just feel good. You need nothing in return.
See, we only give what we got, right? So if you have determined you live in a hostile, scarcity world, universe, then you're afraid and you're scared and you're going to be out there trying to grab what you can get because there's not enough. Or if you're really happy, if you've understood we live in an abundant universe, there's plenty for everybody, it's a loving universe and you feel good, you're happy, then that's what you're going to share with other people, right? You're only able to give what you got. And when you give it, you get more of it, right? So we can make a decision to be able to live as conscious beings in the world that we want to create, right? By giving and cooperating more with other people. And in Operation Cooperation, that's exactly what it's all about. We have got a way to be able to help you take baby steps in changing the way that you live and the way that you think and the way that you act, right? Just baby steps, moving a little bit more into this just a little bit at a time to kind of help you out. And here's the way that it starts, all right? You determine how you want to live your perfect day. Get it out on a piece of paper, write it down, my perfect day, right? And then you begin to build that with your conscious actions every day. So I'm going to give you a little formula in the last slide in our, goodbye from this video, right? A way to start, a way to just begin building your perfect day. All right? So let's get to that. All right, bye. All right, so here's a way to have an easy win into the movement of cooperation, right? Every Monday through Friday, we put out a new story, right, about a person in our XRP community, right? So you get a chance to know them. You've got a chance to get to know Crypto Area a little better, and Joni Gold-Bronson, and Darren, and King Solomon, and the Bearable Bull, and Stephanie Starr, and XR Plumber, and James Rule. You get to know the people who are in our community that you can cooperate with. And the very first way that you can do that, Monday, 9 a.m., Scott is putting out another story about a person in our community. You can retweet my original tweet. All right, here's the ask. To join in Operation Cooperation, to begin to build your perfect day. While you're having your morning coffee, just do what I'm asking you to do. And guess what? If you do it 10 days in a row, right, it's going to become a habit. It'll be on autopilot. All right, so here's what I want you to do. When you wake up and you're getting ready to have your coffee, turn on the old trusty computer, and at 9 a.m. I will have posted a moment in time video for the day. They're all less than 10 minutes. Right? So I'm not talking about taking up a whole bunch of your time. So when I tweet it out on Twitter, what I'm asking you to do, to be a part of, not apart from, retweet my original tweet. Right? All right, we're all already tweeting stuff already, right? I'm not asking you to learn a new skill. I'm not even asking you to be on a new platform on the internet to be able to get to what you're all already on Twitter anyway. So retweet that tweet when I put it out. All right, does that sound simple enough? Just retweet. All right, number 2, copy the link of the video that you're watching, right, that's in the tweet, and tweet that out yourself. See, if we've got 1,000 people that are tweeting out the link to that video, more people are going to see it than if you just retweet it. And then the third thing is watch the video. All right? We have decided to contribute 100% of the YouTube revenue from the views on our videos, on our channel, 100% to charity. Now, I'm not knocking anybody else. I'm a capitalist myself, believe it or not. All right, but I also believe that we need to do about 95% me and 5% we, and we're going to change the world. And I truly believe in what JP says, that 10,000 people can change the world. Why don't we just decide to have 10,000 people in Operation Cooperation? And all they got to do is 9 o'clock in the morning, tweet that tweet, watch that video, copy that link and put it out yourself, right? Not rocket Scientology that we're talking about here. It's real simple stuff. And, what would be the downside? And again, I'm not knocking any of the other YouTube people who aren't giving anything to charity that we know of. They could be. I get it. But they're not. I don't see anybody else encouraging us to cooperate with each other, right? And again, I'm not saying they're not doing it. I'm just trying to do more of it. Say that there's more of an opportunity here than we've been taking advantage of so far. All right, so I'm releasing this on my birthday. So the only thing I'm asking for my birthday is that you watch this. All right, just give it a shot. See if you think Scott's a moron. All right, take care. God bless. Join Operation Cooperation. You'll be happy you did.